Welcome back to the channel. Today we are actually going to be putting the BLUETTI Apex 300 to the test. So we actually brought the Apex for Daddy Girl to go in her van build, okay? And today we are actually going to connect some equipment to it, some of Daddy Girl's equipment to it. The main equipment that she needs, okay? And see how it holds up. Okay, so I'm in here with the BLUETTI. We brought it in the room. Actually, me and Love brought this in here. This thing is super heavy. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's about I think I read it was 84 pounds. Okay, so I'm actually going to disconnect her stuff from the main, from our outlets or whatever, and connect it into the BLUETTI. And just look at this, look at it and see, you know, give it a little test. This is her machine that I gotta plug up. It's going to be her ventilator and nicely her concha machine. So this machine right here, this is what keep her airway warm and moist. I wanted to show you that the Apex is at a 100% charge, and it says that it has 9.8 days until it was to deplete itself, but nothing is plugged into it. And yeah, so let me get over here, right over here. I'm gonna go over here and unplug her stuff. Okay, so I'm down here with the BLUETTI, and I am just gonna make sure that this thing is on 120 volts, which is it is. And I'll be using these two here because when I was reading in the book the instructions, I guess if we was to have a power outage, okay, so right here it said it switches to battery power instantly within 0 milliseconds or 20 milliseconds with specific outlets during an outage, you know, when it's connected to specific outlets. And as you can see, those two on the right would be the ones I'm thinking that I would need to be plugged into. Wait, or is it the ones on the left? Oh, that's kind of confusing. Oh well, we just gonna have to figure that out when the time comes, because like I said, I'm not savvy with this here kind of stuff, and Love ain't here, and Love know how to work a regular generator, but this here is a whole nother level. Okay, so we gonna figure this here thing out. But I was reading this here, I've been trying to read and educate myself on this. What I went head on and did is I unplugged it. I think it need to be unplugged, because if not, it won't be drawn from the BLUETTI, and that would be defeating the purpose. So I unplugged it, and I'm gonna have to actually look and see first. Let's do that. I want to look and see what the wattage is on, what the wattages and stuff is. So this is the label on the back of her LTV, her ventilator, and I actually cannot tell. I don't see where it say the wattages. So what I think you're supposed to do is do some kind of math with the voltage and the amps right here. Now what I'm gonna do is come down here to her concha machine, and there go the information for that. So it's 1.5 amps, and it already had a watt, so 85 watts. So I'm gonna take those wattages right here, and then the wattages from her LTV after I calculate them, and then see what we come up with, you know, with the wattages combined with these two machines. So that's her concha, and this is her ventilator, and let's just see where we stand. And it's gonna take I guess a few seconds for this thing to start working. Wait, actually, Prina, it'll work if you cut the AC on. So we're gonna watch this here for a few seconds, and let's see what we're working with. What I'm gonna do now is plug everything back in. I kind of got an idea of what we can do and what we can't do just with the Apex alone. And also I do have further learning that we have to do with this here machine or this power station. And as we do, I'm sure, you know, a lot of our questions and, you know, things like that will get answered from our hands-on, you know, experiences with this here. All I can say is I am so excited because we actually want to do some traveling this up and coming fall. Fingers crossed we get to do some traveling with Daddy Girl, and we'll actually get to save some coins, because we actually went to Tennessee to go visit Child, our oldest, a couple of years ago, and it was expensive. You know, that trip was $5,000 to take a trip there and back for a week. And over half of that money was spent on one of those RVs, like I think it's a Class A RV, because we wanted to get something that was comfortable for daddy girl, something that was big enough, and something. And that thing actually didn't even power her equipment. We had to take our gas generator with us. So that's why we went with this thing, because it's less, you know, fumes and stuff like that for the environment. And also that thing is quiet. It was just a mess, but we actually did enjoy ourselves. So we're just looking forward to doing some more traveling with that girl. We actually just want to go to the beach with her. So that's going to be one of our first trips that we take. Hopefully we do that soon, and if we do, I'll capture that and, you know, show y'all our setup and stuff like that. Me and Love are actually working on a layout, like a blueprint, if you will, for the van. Something that would suit her needs and our needs too. I had been researching and looking for a van bill, you know, for kids that have special needs, any families, and I didn't see anything that I liked. Okay, I'm looking for a regular van bill, and not like per se a van that have like wheelchair tie downs and stuff like that in it. I need a van bill. What was looking for a van bill so that we can that actually have a bed in it, that actually will give us ideas, you know, with storage for equipment and stuff like that, you know. And we didn't come across anything. So this is actually going to be us just doing things off from our own experiences. And also I want to say, we have taken that girl out in the van the way that it is. What we had to do was tear down her hospital bed, set that up in the van, okay, and take all her equipment. Love truck, you know, he have a Ford F-150. It have like the 120 house outlets in it. We had to run a stitcher cord from the van and plug it into, run it to his truck. It was just a hassle, and it's a lot of work. So now you may get a little more insight on why we're trying to do what we're trying to do, because I'm tired of sitting in this here house day in and day out. I want to get out too. Mama and Mia want to have a little bit of fun. That's it for today's video. If you like the video, you know what to do. Sprinkle the channel, and don't forget, interact with me in the comments, okay? If you have any ideas, any video ideas, you have any comments, any information that you would like to share with me on this here video or anything, leave it in the comments, okay? Until the next time, the next video, enjoy life. Bye.